One, two, one, two, one, two. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, party people. It's your host, Mad Morgan, and I'm tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Car Musings. So, it's another wonderful morning, and I don't know, it's weird seeing the sun be up before 5 a.m. uh, I guess it's just because it's the summertime. Yeah, I got it. It's the summertime. So, the sun wakes up a little sooner than everybody else does. And that's cool. But, yeah, anyways. As I said, I'm your host, Mad Morgan, and I'm just calling to see how you're doing, and I hope everybody's doing good on today. And how's your integrity? It's in check because in today's world, the integrity thing is it's a key thing. It's an interesting thing. Not many people know what it is. Don't even know what the word means. Hell, the definition definitely escapes them. And this goes to world leaders and the people that we either elect or forcefully are in power of us, depending on which country we're in and where we are in the world. And that's what I want to talk about is what do we do with world leaders that perform badly and behave badly? I mean, that's going to be my discussion for today because I'm looking at the state of the world and it's like, on one hand, I feel like I'm in the Terminator series. On the other hand, I'm seeing every really bad Third World War nuclear friggin' movie I've ever seen on the brink of destruction. And it's just like, holy, like, did somebody playing out a script of multiple movies can't figure out which plot to go with? It just really makes me wonder. And that's kind of where we're at today. So it's scary out there, folks. It's absolutely scary. It's like I thought a reality out and it's playing out in my head for whatever reason, but I don't like the storyline. It's like I want to walk out of the theater because it's so surreal with what's going on out there. I don't want this reality. I don't know about anybody else, but you know. So the world leaders, let's look at the world stage right now, which is pretty scary. We're looking at something very classic and cliche. We have an idiot for a president in the United States, and we have a power-hungry idiot on the other side of the world in Russia. And I'm looking at these two that were, for the longest time, the superpowers, and I'm like, huh, okay. So I beg the question of this. There's a lot of skilled people out there that can deal with issues beyond the normal control of anything. Why are these two people still around? I really wonder. Why is somebody not taking them out? And I'm not promoting violence or anything like that. I'm just saying is that there has to be somebody of decency and integrity that has the skill set that can, address this issue because these are two people that, like, okay, so Putin or Putin, whatever, he wants to have legendary status like Stalin. All right, he wants to be one of those Russian icons that people remember. He's going about it the wrong way because people don't like him, and he's not going to be remembered if he conquers the world like he sees in classic books. Like he thinks he's going to be known as Napoleon or something like that for conquering people, for bringing back the USSR and everything else. That's not going to fly. People don't want that restraint again. People don't want that restriction. So good luck, Putin. Okay? Because it's not working, my friend. Get over it. Get over your delusions of grandeur because people don't want that era. We've already lived that era of the USSR, and you're not in that position in history to be remembered in a positive way when you're trying to emulate somebody else that did it at the time that it was right. You're just being greedy at this point, and you're just being self-serving. You want to leave a legacy that you're trying to make, which is not justified or earned, but you think it's okay. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way, my friend. It doesn't work that way. Do it for the right reasons. Do it at an opportunity. Don't make the opportunity. Don't make the opportunity that you feel that is the legendary status that you need to make. It doesn't work that way. So, anyways, so Putin's trying to reform the USSR for the glory days or whatever the case may be, because he was brainwashed by the KGB, so he has all this old school way of thinking about stuff, and that's fine. That's up to him. But he can't really think about this being a reality because it's not something that's going to come to fruition. The rest of the world's just not going to let it fly. So, anyways, you got the businessman Trump on the U.S. side. Well, the U.S. used to be the powerhouse that kept everything in check, but now you have some maniac leading the country, so obviously things are not in check anymore. So, with that being said, you have the situation where it's like, okay, you got this crazy loony bin president in the U.S., and he doesn't care. He wants business, whatever's making him money, whatever is good for business. So he's scared getting in a conflict with Putin because, well, he's worried about the financial loss, the business loss. But at the same token, he's sitting on his hands on this whole situation. So the world's crying out, going, okay, hi, who's going to stand up to the situation? Who's going to do that? Well, lo and behold, thankfully, we always have always somebody in the back pocket there, and it's Germany, so we've unleashed Germany, and that should make anybody sweat because Germany is perfectionist. Germany is about structure, order, everything else. So the thing is that okay, they've unleashed Germany. Germany is able to build the military again. Guess what? Putin is actually sweating in his booties because the thing is that he knows what Germany's capable of, and now he's like threatening, saying, "Oh well, if any of you Germans look at me the wrong way, I'm going to cause a fit. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." I'm like, okay, so because there's a powerhouse now that's in play, the chessboard's changed, and now shit's seriously going to hit the fan. Like, seriously, what a fucking coward. He puffs out his chest, and he gets all friggin' high and mighty on stuff when he thinks that he's going to bully his way into getting what he wants, and then all of a sudden somebody steps up, bigger kid in the schoolyard, and says, we're not going to do this. And now he's getting all scared and everything else. Putin, give it up, bud. Just call it a day. Put yourself in the box. Bury yourself. The world doesn't need you. The world doesn't want you. So this is my suggestion. Just get out of town. Get out of Dodge while you can. Because if I had the skill set and if I had the means, I'd be cleaning house. I'd be looking at the world stage going, who's the problems right now? Okay, let's remove those pawns from the chessboard because they're not major players. They think they are. They're big fish in a big pond? No, they're small fish. They just think they're big fish. And that's what I would do. I would. And I don't know why somebody hasn't stepped out and taken care of that at this point. It doesn't make sense to me. I think somebody should definitely step out and do something about it. Trump and Putin both have to be removed from the equation. So anyways, Germany's on the board now. They're unleashed. They can build the military. Great. That's excellent. That should make the Middle East sweat. That should make Russia sweat. That's going to make some players sweat. I'm hoping so because the Middle East has been invading every major city and country that's willing to open their doors to help them out, and they're coming into the countries and ruining them. Okay, and trying to stay up and set up camp and everything else and call the shots. That's not going to fly, my friends. That's not going to fly. We're not going to allow you to ruin our countries like you ruined your own. Okay, so, you can just give that a rest. That's not going to happen. And if Germany has its way, they're not going to just stop with where they're at with fixing order and fixing the situations that are going on in Russia. They should go on and they should be the policing factor that actually polices the world. Oh, but that's Nazism, it's bad, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? I'm thinking the fact that we screwed up really bad over the last 50 plus years removing them from the actual board was a really bad idea. Because look at how much we screwed things up. I'm thinking maybe it's an opportunity now for Germany to run the show. Forget about any other country thinking of their superpower. Now, when we're talking about superpowers, let's talk about the subtle, suave person here. I don't know who the leader of China is, but oh, has this leader played it very smoothly. He's been playing behind the scenes, but still a major player. And whoever's leading China is playing the long game. So kudos, and I do apologize for not knowing that leader's name, but kudos to the leader of China for playing the smart, slow play, long game. Because that's exactly what they're doing. They're into space exploration, they're buying properties all over the world, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're doing everything non-confrontational. There's going to come a day that they're just going to pull the friggin' trigger and go, okay, we're good. Boom. This is ours, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours. They're literally putting all that in play. And once they feel 100% secure, they've thought about their moves, that's when they're going to friggin' do their thing. That day's coming. Be careful. Now, my advice to China is don't bring Russia with you. Okay? Don't bring Russia with you. You don't want that level of crazy. I'm hoping, and I'm going to say this as much as I can because my experience with Chinese lately has been pretty shaky. I'm hoping that China has some level of honor and some level, okay? Because the thing is that I know their companies and some people have a tendency to be not very honorable, but I'm hoping that they have some level of honor when it comes to the way they run things. This is all I'm saying. But that's going to be a big This is going to be a big conflict here, right? Because the thing is that Germany's still a player, although small, but it's going to be growing. And Russia's still trying to puff out their chest like, blah 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 blah. We want to do what we want to do because Putin wants to leave his fake legacy. So if Germany and China go head to head, that's going to be interesting. That really is going to be interesting. I'd be curious to see how that plays out. I don't know. Crazy times. So here's, I guess, today's episode is definitely about world leaders and what can we do about them, for sure. Sorry, nose is a little stuffed up. So that's pretty much my position on that. World leaders and what can we do about it? That's really what I want to know. What can we do about the world leaders, especially when they behave badly? There's got to be some options. But there are some leaders that really haven't been puffing out their chest. That have been pretty slow playing about it. Been pretty good about it. Like I said, China. There's a lot of fixing that can be done in this world. I do agree. The reality's got to change. The perception's got to change. War doesn't do anybody good at all. War is a primitive thing because somebody wants something that somebody else has. Now, I agree. If you're fighting for a level of honor, if you're fighting to defend yourself, okay, I can understand that. But if you're fighting because you want more land or you want somebody's resources, something along those lines, I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. Now you're just getting greedy, especially if you have enough. Russia's got a lot of land. They got money. So now you want more? No. Somebody's got to stand up to these bullies. Somebody's got to take care of these problems. And I calling out to anybody that's listening to my episode today. I said, hey, I'm Matt Morgan. Let me tell you, I've been around long enough to live through the Cold War, to see the world changes. I've been around long enough to see the turbulent times that we've actually went through in the last 50 plus years. And if you have a skill set that can actually help save the world, by all means, please use it. I'm calling out to one individual or multiple individuals. If you can, by any method, not necessarily saying the obvious, I'm talking about even if you could manifest, even if you could change the reality in which we live in or influence it in any way, please do. I would like to go to a peaceful time. I would like to go to a time where we, you know, if you can actually recall a time like that, but a peaceful time where the worst we were fighting was warlords in friggin' African countries, and that was something that was under control by the superpowers that be. Our superpowers that be now are complete idiots. Excuse me. Complete idiots. Somebody's got to do something about that. Somebody's got to influence it because it's not the reality I want. It's the reality that a lot of people don't want. It's a very, very scary state of affairs that something has to be done about because this is just surreal. Like it really is. Let's do something about this. Well, anybody that can, please do. Because it's, as I said, it's pretty crazy out there, and I think we could use any bit of helping hand that we possibly can. The existence of parallel existences, parallel universes is something that they toyed around with for a while. And I swear that they bleed into each other in some regards. Like, you'll have your own reality, and then for something changes in the actual flow of things, and one bleeds into the other. And right now, it seems like this reality is completely different than it originally started out to be. It like bled way too much. It bled way too much into the other direction. So that's something that should be taken care of and try to fix. But people are oblivious to it. They go by their everyday 9 to 5s, and they don't really realize that this is going on. And it's just like, holy crap! Did not think that something is a little bit of a miss here. And what are we going to do about it? So, my hat's off to Germany. I'm hoping that they step in and do what they got to do. I'm hoping they remain a world leader on the stage. It seemed like they have a pretty good leader at this point. Not going to make the same mistakes of the past. So, I'm thinking on both sides, everybody's learned something. That we're not going to make it an extreme sport like Germany has in the past. But I do applaud Germany. I hope that they can get their numbers up to where they need to and bring law and order to govern the actual world. To add structure back to this really chaotic place that we're all in right now. That would be awesome. Like, seriously, let's bring it. Let's bring it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, Germany. I gotta be careful with saying that in my household because, it is what it is. But the thing is that if you look at the logic, and I say that, kind of ironically, I look at the logic of it. It makes perfect sense. Let Germany be the policing country that actually polices everybody else. Definitely would put the two tantruming countries of the USA and Russia in check, because I'm pretty sure both of them know that the powerhouse that's behind Germany. But I'm sorry, folks, but there's been too much leniency given to a lot of different areas when it comes to the way the world is working. And somebody's got to step in and fix that. And that's going to be Germany. And Germany's got to do it right. Because, they've also learned that if they don't do it right, there's going to be the countries that are going to try to put them in place. Try to suppress them again. And they wouldn't want that. Anyways. Good luck, Germany. Godspeed. I hope all the power, resources, and everything else you need to do the really difficult task you have to do moving forward. I hope it all comes into play and fruition. And, you know, please do what you can as soon as you can. The Middle East thing's out of hand. That's got to be taken care of. You got to kibosh that. And while you're at it, deal with the shit that's going on in the Asian countries. Deal with what's going on with Putin. Deal with what's going on in the USA. And let's bring some law and order to things. That's all I'm saying. And this is not a racist undertone, folks. So get your heads out of your asses, okay? Get your heads out of your asses. It has nothing to do with racism or Nazism or anything else, okay? You just don't like the idea because you're running amok, doing whatever the hell you want, unchecked, and thinking that you can come in and ruin everybody else's country. You think you can come and be the rule of the roost, so to speak. No, that's not the way it flies. In a civilized world, in a civilized country, civilized places, there's got to be order. And if there's no order, it's not going to be your personal cesspool of whatever the hell you want from wherever you're from, because this is what you know. If you want to be part of a civilization and civilized society, then there's rules to be followed. And don't start spouting, oh, well, racism and my color, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that crap. Because you know you're doing wrong. And anybody that doesn't realize that they're doing wrong obviously has to get their head checked. And if you don't get your head checked and getting shit in order, then somebody else is going to. And guess what? That's going to be Germany. Okay? Germany is like the Balkans in some respects, in the sense that it's all about logic. Forget about the emotional side of it. It's logic. Logic, 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 logic. Nothing else comes into effect here. It don't care about anything else but the logic. Okay, this is this plus this equals problem. What do? We remove the equations that actually make the problem. Simple as that. Excellent. Everything works now. So, let's fix her up, folks. Let's fix her up. Oh, I have a feeling tomorrow's going to be a better day. I'm hoping. So, somebody deal with the world leaders, namely the two troublemakers right now, which is basically Russia and the U.S. Let's get that done, please. Let's get that done. Get somebody with some level of common sense in those positions. And let's get back to trying to fix everything else in the world rather than, two idiots that are friggin' throwing tantrums. I would appreciate that. As far as everything else goes, I hope everybody's doing well. It's very tough economy-wise there. I'm hurting. My family's hurting. A lot of people are hurting, trying to make everything come into play and trying to make ends meet. I'm back, of course, to the job hunt, trying to find work again, which sucks, especially being older. So, you know, it's a crazy world out there where you have a huge amount of skill set, but for some reason, nobody's knocking down your door. And you're trying to figure out why, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Hang on a second. Why are you not knocking down my door? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. You should be banging on my door like there's no tomorrow, but you're not. Why? So, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping you guys are doing better than I am. Because it's crazy times out there. If you're not dealing with the politics of the world stage, you're dealing with, stuff close at home, and it's unsettling. You can't even earn a paycheck because nobody's willing to give you an opportunity. And it's like, where is everybody else getting their jobs and money from? Did I miss some sort of secret society type of thing here that, everybody else knows about, but I don't? With that said, hey, check out themadmorgan.com. Information, resources, everything else are there. Please check it out. If you can donate a few bucks to keep me afloat, I appreciate that. Share the word. Tell people about us. You know, get some exposure. I hope what I bring you is interesting or entertaining or even thought provoking, because that's my whole intention for being here. Have a little chat with you now and then with car musings, and thank you for tuning in. This is probably the most successful show because it's not edited; it's raw, straight up information. It's basically just coming at you. I don't edit it. I don't fine tune it. It is what it is, and I put it out there, and you take it as it is. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's good. If not, like, leave me some feedback. We're on the major things. We're on, of course. I think Apple finally figured out their shit. So we're on the iTunes thing, but we're definitely on Spotify. We're definitely on um, YouTube. So, you can always, there's comment sections there. You can leave comments. Contact information, everything else you could do, of course, on themadmorgan.com. Reach out. Give me your complaints, questions, concerns, compliments, whatever you want. But you have a voice, and I always encourage my listeners to have a voice. Tell me what you want to hear. Share your feedback on the shows. You know, express yourself. I welcome you to express yourself. I'm not going anywhere. So, if I can relay your message or relay what you need or want or whatever the case may be, by all means, let me be your voice. But reach out by all our different methods and let me know what's on your mind. I would love to hear. So I encourage that. Anyways, I'm your host, Matt Morgan. I am calling it for today, but this has just been on my mind, so I wanted to actually have a little chat about this. But I encourage anybody, you know, there's major problems in this world, and if you have any sort of sway or influence or solutions, please engage them and take care of this stuff because it's getting dangerous. It's almost surreal, as I said, you know, what's going on in the world, and it's almost scary too. And I don't think the world likes to live in fear. Like I'm tempted to take the next step and friggin' arm myself because that's you know 2 seconds to midnight, my friends. 2 seconds to midnight. Probably even closer at this point. All right. Love you. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host, Matt Morgan. Thanks for listening to Car Musings, and I will see you next episode. Bye for now.